What's up, children? Today's topic here, we're going to look at complex fractions. Now, you're going to look at that and say, what the heck, that looks really crazy. So what I would suggest for you to do is we're going to rewrite this fraction, all right, old school style. Sometimes a little old school, I would need to click the pen there. Sometimes a little old school is a little better. We're going to rewrite 5 minus 15 over x, okay? The top, I just rewrote the top. I'm going to put the old school division sign here. Okay, and then I'm going to rewrite what's on the bottom. X plus 2 over 15 minus 1 over x. All right, now essentially this becomes 3 different problems. You're going to have a problem here on the left. You're going to have problem number 2 on the right. And then we take a look at the division sign. So let's practice combining fractions here. So this 5 I'm going to put over 1. Okay. And I would need an LCM so that I can put these fractions together. So it looks like it's going to be a 1. Put it over here. My LCM. I'm going to have a 1, and over here I have the letter x. All right, now remember, my bottoms have to look exactly just like this, 1x. Now, here I have a 1, I'm missing an x, so I'm going to multiply the bottom by x. If I multiply the bottom by x, I have to multiply the top by x. Okay? Then, over here, I'm just missing the 1. I'm not going to write it there because anytime you multiply 1 with anything, it becomes itself, so I'll leave it alone. On the left side, x times 5, well, we're just going to put those together. 5x over, over 1 times x would just give me an x, minus, and I'm just going to copy this guy down because I didn't do anything to it. All right. Remember, now that the bottoms are the same, I can now go ahead and put these two guys together. So I have a 5x, and remember, you're only putting together the numerator, 5x minus 15, and that'll be all over my LCM x. Okay, now we're going to copy down that division symbol. Copy down the division symbol just to stay organized. And now we have problem number 2 here on the right. All right, so I'm going to need the LCM so I can get these guys to look the same so that I can put them together. So it looks like I'm going to take the 15. I'm going to take the 15, and then it looks like I'm just going to have to get the letter x here. So my bottom is going to look like 15x. Now, we're going to go back, and I'm going to ask you what's missing from here from the LCM. It looks like I have the 15, but I'm missing the x. So I'm going to multiply this bottom by x, and if I multiply... Now, hey, be careful here. You're multiplying the whole top, the whole numerator by x, right? So I'm going to put a parenthesis here so that I know to distribute that x later on, okay? Now, let's get back to this. Sorry, it was a little sloppy. I have an x, right? In my LCM, I have an x here, but I'm missing the 15. So I'm going to have to put a 15 here, all right? So I'm going to multiply the bottom by 15. If I multiply the bottom by 15, I need to multiply the top by 15. All right, now let's start multiplying this x. Laws of exponents, same base, add those exponents. So x times x, x raised to the 2. And don't forget, we still have to distribute the x to this guy. That'll give me a positive 2x. And that will be over my LCM, which is 15x. I'm going to bring down this minus sign here. I'm going to bring down this minus sign here. On the top, 15 times 1, well, that'll give me 15 over 15x. Now that the bottoms are the same, I'm going to go ahead and put these guys together. So numerators here, x squared plus 2x, and then I'm going to combine the minus, minus 15 all over, all right, all over your LCM. Problem number 2, check. Now we go ahead and take a look at this symbol, right? It says division. So in order to divide fractions, I'm actually going to change this to a multiplication sign. I'm just going to keep talking. That's a little dot right there. That's going to be multiply. I'm going to have to change this guy, right? I'm going to have to flip these two, right? So I'm going to put this on the bottom. X squared plus 2x minus 15, right? Actually, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite it. Sorry, guys. I'm going to change this to multiplication, and then I'm going to go ahead and flip this guy. So on the bottom, I had 15x, so I'm going to put it on top, right? And then on the top, I had x squared, blah, blah, blah. I'll put that on the bottom. Now, let's change that to a little x, right? Now, what we have to do here is we have to factor, okay? Now, if you have problems factoring, please just leave a comment or email me or something. Here, I know it's going to be a GCF. How do you take, or what is the GCF of 5 and 15? I'm going to take a 5 out. I cannot take a letter out because there's none here, okay? Open parentheses. Now, you're just going to tell me what's left inside. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. I still have an x. Have a minus, and 15 divide 5, give me 3. Can't factor this, can't factor that. Trinomials, what multiplies to 15? Start with 1. 1 times 15, 3 times 5. And I'm not going to write 5 because I already have one here. So now, I have two pairs of numbers. Which one, when combined together, will give me a positive 2? Well, I don't think 1 and 15 will do that. Now I just need to know what kind of signs I need for the 3 and the 5. Well, I need a positive 2. So I think a positive 5 minus a 3 will give me a positive 2. And that checks out. So in parentheses, right, in parentheses, I will have x minus 3 and x plus 5. Now that I'm done factoring everything, I can go ahead and cross-cancel things out. Now, when I say cross-cancel, they have to look exactly the same on the top and on the bottom. So here's an x minus 3 on the top, x minus 3 on the bottom. Let's see. Ooh, that's an x. This is an x. Okay. Now that I'm done cross-canceling things out, I'm going to multiply fractions. How do you multiply fractions? We go straight across. So I have a 5 times 15. I believe that gives us 75, right? Let's just check to make sure. Ooh. I don't want to give away the wrong. Yeah, it's 75. And then on the bottom, I have a 1 here. Remember, if it goes out, it's a 1. And I have an x plus 5 here. So it'll simply just be 75 over x plus 5. Okay? Now, let's try another problem. Again, complex fractions. Let's go and let's rewrite it old school. Divide 2 over x minus x over 2. Now, let's look at the left side. LCM would be 10 and x together. Okay, what's missing from the 10? I'm missing the x, so I'll multiply the bottom and the top by the x. Oop. Once again, look, I almost fell for it. You have two things here that we're going to multiply that x by. So I'm going to put the parentheses here so that I can distribute later. All right, this x right here is just missing the 10. So I'm going to put a 10 here and a 10 on top. All right, let's multiply out. X times x, that'll give me x squared. X times 3, well, positive 3 and an x. All over my 10x. That's a minus sign. All right, 10 times 1, well, that'll give me 10 over LCM 10x. And now I can put these two together because the bottoms are the same. So I will have x squared plus 3x minus 10 all over my LCM of 10x. And just for organization purposes, let's keep bringing down the division sign. All right, don't want to forget that. Right side. Okay, looks like the LCM is just the 2 and the x. So my LCM has to look like this. Now what's missing from here is just the 2. So let's multiply the bottom by 2, multiply the top by 2. Over here, I'm missing an x, right? So I'm going to multiply by x, multiply by x. Okay. Now, 2 times 2 will give me 4. 2x, just simply 2x. That's a minus sign. X times x will give me x squared. And then 2 times x will be 2x. Bottoms are the same, so now I can put them together. So I will do 4 minus x squared all over the LCM. Okay? Now, we take a look at the middle, division. So I rewrite the first. Whoop. I'm going to change this guy into multiplication, and I'm going to swap these two, the numerator and denominator, giving me 2x on top, 4 minus x squared on the bottom. Now we go ahead and factor as much as we can. Over here, I need to multiply to a 10 1 times 10, 2 times 5, and I'm not going to rewrite the 5 because I already have it here. Now, in the middle, I need to combine the two numbers to equal a positive 3. I don't think 10 and 1 will work. And now we need signs. Remember, I needed a positive 3, so let's do positive 5 minus 2. Let's just check. 5 minus 2 gives me 3. Perfect. I'm going to put it here on top. X minus 2. X plus 5. Let me get rid of this so I don't get confused later. Here is the difference of two squares. So open two parentheses, square root of 4, give me a 2. One has to be positive, one has to be negative. No, it does not matter which sign goes in which parentheses. And then split this exponent in half, x to the first, x to the first. Now we're going to start cross-canceling things out. Now what I notice here on top is I have an x. On the bottom I have an x. Now, here's a little trick. Remember before I had said anything that looks exactly the same? Well, take a look at this. X minus 2 is up here, but down here, there's a 2 minus x, right? Almost the same, not quite. So there's something you have to do here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross them off anyway. Cross them off anyway. And all you're going to do is take a negative. Let's put it down here. Put a negative out in front of the parentheses. As long as you take that negative out, you can cross those two off. Okay? Now, let's multiply the tops. I have a 2 here. I have a 2 here. I'm going to write a 2. That has parentheses x plus 5. And what I'm going to tell you here is not to distribute. All right? Don't distribute. Just leave it like that. All over. Let's see. I have a negative. I have a 10. And then I have a 2 plus x in parentheses, leaving, nope, I'm not done yet. Look at this. Ooh, that's a 2, and that's a 10. You could keep going here, children. Look at this. You can keep going. So let's divide both the top and the bottom, these two numbers, by 2. They're both even, so I know they can be divisible by 2. 2 goes into 2 just one time. Let me put it over here. Just one time. I still have the x plus 5. Okay, and then 2 can go into 10 5 times. So I'll have a negative 5 with a 2 plus x on the bottom. Oops, sorry guys. That would be final answer. Cool? Cool.